Hey everybody, here we go. This is Elevate's very first online video daily devotional. This is our attempt to help you get into the Bible and read it every single day. So for today, you should have read Exodus chapter 28. For tomorrow, Thursday, read Exodus chapter 29. If you didn't read Exodus chapter 28, you can pause the video right now, take a moment to read it, or you can just go forward into this devotional, but try to stay a day ahead. And here we go with chapter 28 of Exodus. So I want you to think of a time when a teacher gave you an assignment at school, but the guidance or the directions were really vague and non-specific. How did you feel? Maybe frustrated because you wanted to do a good job on it, but you weren't sure exactly what they were asking you to do? Now try to think of another time when the directions to an assignment were overly specific and you felt like there was no room for your creativity. You just had to follow it exactly like the teacher laid it out. How do you feel about that? Some people like assignments like that. Others, it kind of drives them crazy. Now, how about this question? If God asked you to create something or build or make something, would you prefer directions that were pretty general? Or would you want directions that were really specific? And why? So in chapter 28 of Exodus, what's going on is God is laying out the requirements for Moses and the builders of the tabernacle, which was God's temporary home in the wilderness. Eventually it will become the temple. And in chapter 28, he's talking about the garments that the priests would wear. Let me just read from verse 4. He says, these are the garments that they're going to make: a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a woven tunic, a turban, and a sash. And he goes on through chapter 28, extremely specific on how these things are supposed to be made. Verse 9 takes 2 onyx stones, that's a precious stone, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel in the order of their birth, 6 names on one stone and the remaining 6 on the other. And he goes on and on and on about this. Now, makes it sound like God's a really demanding teacher, even controlling. But there's another way to think about it, and it's this. When there's someone who you love, following their instructions specifically is an act of love for that person. So every year my wife has a birthday, and I hate it when I ask my wife, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? And she says, I don't know. Because believe me, she knows. And I would rather have her say, I want to go to this restaurant and I want to order this food and I want to do this together and I want you to buy me this specific gift. Because that way, instead of having to make it up in my own mind, I know that I am getting her exactly what she wants. And at the end of her special day, she's going to feel really, really loved. Perfectly obeying somebody's instructions makes them feel really, really loved. So there are areas of our life where God does not give us super specific instructions. That's true. But there's other areas of human life where God's instructions are really, really clear. And when we perfectly obey the instructions God has given us, it is a way of perfectly loving Him. Where in your life do you wish God had given you specific instructions? Where in your life are you pretty sure God has given you some specific instructions that you need to follow? And if you're not sure, if there's an area of life where it falls somewhere in between, you need to pick up this Bible and read it, because perfectly obeying God's instructions is a way of perfectly loving Him. That's Exodus 28. Tomorrow, Exodus chapter 29. Spend some time in prayer and in God's Word today, and we'll see you tomorrow.